Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me this evening or this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are around the world. Welcome to The Stretch. This is your host, Latonja Worsham, and I am so delighted to have my guest with us tonight. You are going to be blessed, Mr. James Zheng. Let's get ready to take it to the max, shall we? Let's go.
What's up, everybody? Hey, James Zheng here, and welcome to The Stretch. I want to give special shout out to our host, Latonja Worsham. Isn't she awesome? And isn't this show awesome? But really, the VIPs of today are you for taking your time, taking your energy to listen to something. And I'll introduce myself in a bit, but I want to start with this question. What would your life look like if you had unstoppable faith? What could your business look like? What could your impact look like? What could your family look like? And could we all agree that if your level of faith was higher, then your results would be higher as well too? Well, today we're going to unpack how to do that, how to transform your life. I'm going to be very vulnerable with you guys today as well too, as I share through some of my stories on some principles that I know if you apply will transform your entire life. So I hope you're strapped and ready to go. And by the way, if you're not yet subscribed to The Stretch, please do that. Follow Latonja wherever that she's going, because you're going to have a lot of cool content like what we're about to talk about today. Disclaimer. I consider myself a kingdom business coach. So I teach a lot from Bible-based principles because I believe that is the source of truth. I believe all the best personal development books in the world come from the original book itself. So if you're not someone of faith, I hope you can keep an open mind. But I know it's going to impact you because principles are principles. But let me start with this story on when I discovered what true faith was and how to create unstoppable faith. So I didn't grow up a person of faith at all. My parents, they are agnostic, but they taught me to have faith in my own works. They were the type that said, they were Asian immigrants. They came over here. They said, hey, if you want to do well in life, work hard, go to school, and get a good job. So that's what I did. And I learned how to get work ethic. I went to UC Berkeley, studied biology. So I knew how to study. I knew how to work hard. Then I got introduced to entrepreneurship. When I was 19 years old, I got involved in health and wellness and network marketing. I learned a lot of great things about self-improvement, about personal growth. I learned from the great people like Jim Rohn and John Maxwell that if for things to change and you got to change. And I so aligned with that, and it transformed my life. Because I realized that you can develop faith. I realized that you could get better with things. So things are moving on. I applied the system through my business. I was able to make part-time in the first couple of years, enough to fuel me through my college. By the time that I graduated from UC Berkeley in 2011, I was making enough for my business that I didn't need to go out down to another full-time job. And life was looking good. Fast forward, we're making over 6 figures a year. I married the love of my life, Becky, who, by the way, was my top business leader first before we got married. Separate story for another time. And we moved into our dream home. We had the dream cars. We had the dream life. We felt that our faith in our goals and our faith in ourselves was enough. And boom, we made it, quote unquote. But who here has ever had a challenge in your life that put you flat on your back and made you lose confidence and faith? Give me a wave if that's the case, or say something out loud if you're listening to this. And what happened was, unforeseen circumstances, our business fell apart. 90% of our business went away in 1 year. We lost our home. We lost our cars. We went all the way back to moving in with my mother-in-law. Thank God for my mother-in-law to save money. And I lost confidence. I lost faith, guys, for the very first time. And maybe that's a place that you're at right now. Maybe you're thinking about your dream, your business, your desires, your goals, and the light is flickering out. But I just want to encourage you today that if you're still breathing right now, God's not done with you yet. If you're down to affirm that, say out loud, amen to that. So what happened is at the very bottom, it was hard to pick myself up because everything I had faith back into was gone. But the first thing, if you're jotting down notes, I'd encourage you, if you want to have unstoppable faith, is faith can build up when you're around a good circle. You see, if you're by yourself, if you're isolated, you're not going to be able to win this battle. Man was not meant to live alone, as God said in the word. So at the bottom of the bottom, I needed accountability. For you, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's a mentor, maybe it's a coach, whoever that it is, find somebody. For me, it was my wife. And when I told my wife that I gave up on the dream, she told me, babe, it's okay. We're going to get through this. Guys, I just needed that little bit of insertion of faith. And don't we know that the faith of a mustard seed is enough to move mountains? So number one, make sure you have accountability. Make sure you have people surrounding you that love you, that you can confide in. If you don't have them, find them. Number two, then, as I started to pick things back up, I still found it to be a struggle because I felt like I was walking hypocrite. I don't know if you know what I mean by that. If you've ever been somewhere before, you've accomplished something and you lost it. You hit a certain income level, you lost it. Your business grew to a certain level, you lost it. You looked a certain way, you lost it, right? There's this living hypocrisy in me where I felt like I was taking one step back and taking two steps backwards. One step forward, two steps back. I don't know if you've ever felt like that before, but I kept on self-sabotaging. And I kept on thinking, man, how do I have faith when I failed? Everything that I had before was gone. And that's when I realized, point number two, that you have to make sure the object of your faith is the right one. What do I mean by that? I learned as I was going through sermons through this whole situation that my faith was placed in the wrong things. What's a wrong thing to place faith in? Now, we live in a worldly culture that glorifies things like self-help, that glorifies things like, if it were to be, it's up to me, that glorifies hard work and hustling and all that type of stuff. While that's all great, anything I've learned that can be temporal, anything that can be lost, anything that can fade away is not a strong foundation to put your faith on. Okay. You want to make sure for your life, you want to make sure for your business, your dreams, your goals, that it's on a rock solid foundation that'll never fall. Otherwise, the whole house of cards goes down. So I realized putting my faith in my business, which I used to, putting my faith in my relationships, which I used to, putting my faith in myself. I mean, I'm the number one person to tell you, I lie to myself all the time. I fail all the time. How about you? So putting my faith in myself, that's a recipe for depression right there. And what I realized, and this may or may not be for you, for me, the only faith that I could have was not in it. It was not an object. Faith, I realized, was in a person. And for me, that person is the person of Jesus Christ. That person is God himself. Why? God's immutable. God never changes. God cannot lie. God is the strongest foundation in the world and everything. So in that moment, I realized I needed to reprogram and shift what my faith was in. Because if I put faith in me, I can real easily quit on me. But if I put my faith in who God is, if I know that his word does not return void, when he gives a dream, when he gives a word, it will not come back without doing what it does. That changed everything, and it will change everything for you as well too. Why? Because you start to realize that when you have bouts of faith, when you have bouts of confidence, it's not about you. It's not about how good you are. It's not about how hardworking you are. It's not about how deserving you are. It's knowing that there's already a promise that is being fulfilled. There's already a promise. And if God promised it, it will be done. So we can basically check God on that. Like, God, come on, you promised this trade. You promised that this would happen. Let me stand on that. So I reprogrammed the faith on which I stood. I hope that clicks for you, right? And remember, if you are a person of faith, Hebrews 11:6 says that without faith, it's impossible to please God. And faith is the assurance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. Okay. Third point in faith, having unstoppable faith, is this: setting God-sized dreams. This is probably one of the biggest X factors. If you want to stretch yourself, if you want to have maximum impact, if you want to develop to become the woman or the man that God designed you to be able to do the things that you were designed to do and to live the way that you dream to live, it all starts from your thoughts. You see, what happened was this: when I lost everything, I started to set goals again. Now, if you're listening to the show, I know you're probably familiar with goals, the importance of them. But because I lost something, I don't know if you've ever been here before, you're hurt, you're traumatized. You think, what if I fail again? And it starts to diminish your dreams. In fact, it said that the world's wealthiest place in the world is not Fort Knox, it's not any bank in the world, but it's in the cemetery because of all the dreams that were never realized. What would life look like if you truly knew that anything were possible? What would life look like if you knew that you just needed an ounce of faith to be able to accomplish the seeming impossible? What would you dream? What would you think about? And what happened was this, is we pulled ourselves back up. I didn't give up. I started to reformat my faith foundation, but I was still like struggling with moving forward. I was still struggling to boost up the next business. I was still struggling to move forward in life. And what happened was we took a trip to Bali. We had like an eat, pray, love moment over there. I was celebrating my 30th birthday, me and my wife. Fun week. And if you know the trip from America to over there, it's one of the longest flights in the world. I think it's like 23 hours. Can you imagine that? Yeah, we had like little seats and stuff like that, but we're having a lot of fun. But 23 hours, there's only so many movies you can watch. There's only so much talking you can do. There's only so much reading that you can do. So we got to start to think. And I asked this one question that I dare you to ask. If you dare to answer this question authentically and genuinely, it can absolutely change your life. And what is this? If time and money were not an issue and you knew you couldn't fail, what would success look like to you? I'm going to repeat that. If time and money were not an issue and you knew you couldn't fail, what would success look like? Guys, it was the first time in a long time that allowed my mind to dream again. I was so shackled by failure. I was so shackled by disappointment. I was so shackled by guilt that I couldn't even think again. But don't you know that imagination is a preview of life's coming attractions, as Albert Einstein says. God gifted us. This is the only thing that separates you and I from animals. Our ability to think, our ability to imagine. And you know what happens when you go through trial, when you go through challenges? Many times we shut down the most important part, the most unique part of ourselves, which is this ability to imagine, this ability to create dreams. Remember, God made us in his image. What did God first do? He created. We were created to create. So we got some work here to do. So I asked myself that question. You know what started happening? I started to pen things down. I started to imagine a business running all over the world. I started imagining a family of people in our business being successful. I started imagining a life that I could work from anywhere at any time. I started to imagine kingdom impact, to be able to bring God's glory in everything that I did. I just wrote down big things, right? And you know what happened is that became a way to stretch my faith. Now, why is this any different from any other goal? I want to give you another scripture. Remember, if God said it, then his word will not return void. Have you asked God before, what should my goal be? I'd encourage you to do that, no matter where you're in your faith. But don't we think God knows the best goal to be able to set? So instead of trying it our own way, why not just ask God, hey, well, what do you think my goal should be? If you could actually bring anything to pass and you were on my side, what do you want me to do, God? Ask him on that. It says in the word that if you ask him for wisdom, he will give it to you freely without reproach. So he's not going to like chastise you. He's not going to slap you. He's not going to like not answer you. He will give you ideas. And it says in Psalm 37:4 that if you delight yourself in the Lord, then he will give you the desires of your heart. What does that mean? If you seek him, if you ask him, if you desire him, if you delight in him, he will start giving you inspired ideas. He will start giving you ambitions. he will start giving you a dream. Remember, it says that in those days, young men will dream dreams, old men will have visions, right? So think about these visions again, and it's going to come in a moment. The moment that you get that seed, are you writing it down? It says in Habakkuk to write down the vision, even though it delays, it surely will not tarry. There are principles in life. There are principles in the word. There's principles that God's put together that if we just simply take them and apply them, they will work. Why? Because we're not having faith in who we are. We're having faith in who he is. And remember, he is a God that cannot lie. So I wrote that down, and this is what happened. The next 2 years transformed our life. We were able to get out of all of our debt. We were able to rebuild our business to be way bigger than it was before in record time. We were able to actualize the things that we'd written down on that paper. We now have an international business with our wellness business. We now run an organization called the Warrior Movement, which trains online entrepreneurs around the world. We are just pinching ourselves. We have the most incredible leaders there. Our life is incredible. We just purchased and moved into our new dream home, which was way better than the previous one, almost double, actually. Actually, we're paying probably 3 times more than what we're paying over there. God blessed us. We were able to dream bigger, right? And even a ministry called Kingdom Builders got started through that as well, too. And if you don't know what that is, feel free to follow that as well, too. I provide a lot of biblical wisdom, practical tips for the faith-based entrepreneur so that you can succeed God's way and elevate his kingdom above everything. Guys, all that happened with this in the last 5 years. And looking back, I just think no matter where you are in your journey right now, God's not done with you yet. And if you remember 3 things in faith, this will stretch you, this will empower you, this will take you to the next level that you know that you have within you. Number 1, surround yourself around some people that you can confide in and keep you accountable. Number 2, redefine what you're putting faith in. Reevaluate that. Is your faith in things that are removable, replaceable, or is it in rock solid foundation? And number 3, dare to dream a God-sized dream that require faith to be able to actualize. If you do those 3 things, I'm telling you, you're going to have unstoppable faith and you're going to have an incredible life. So with that, it was an honor to be on here today. I appreciate Latonja for her trust to just give this platform straight to me. I hope you found this valuable. If you did, by the way, I'd love to leave you with a couple things, a free gift. I have a video that actually goes over the number 1 breakthrough principle that's transformed my life. And I've walked through many, many other people as well too. That's biblically sounded everything. And if you'd like to get that, it'll be in the show notes, but it's miraculousbreakthroughformula.com/free video. miraculousbreakthroughformula.com/free video. Put your email there. You'll get a free video. Plus, actually, daily, I give content as well, too. If you'd like some more information, there's also a book that I wrote that's all about that breakthrough formula. How in 7 days, I became like Neo from the Matrix, and how you can as well, too. And follow me on all my social media platforms. You can find me pretty much everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I have a great channel there as well, too. All of it is whatever that platform is, James C. Zheng, which is Zheng. So James C. Zheng, follow me, find me, and it's an absolute honor. I love to hear your stories. I love to see how I can help and serve you more as well too. But with that, I'm going to toss it back to Latonja, our amazing host. And by the way, remember, subscribe and follow her stuff because she is an incredible, incredible host. Thank you so much.